So just fascinating. And so, what we're seeing is in this crowded marketplace, if you're not doing things specifically in the B2B space around thought leadership, around content, around webinars, you're going to get lost in that marketing funnel. And more than that, I'll add this, the real challenge is that what I am seeing is that Google search results are the number of clicks has dropped by about 40% in the last 8 months, right? So everything you're doing on SEO and SEM is yielding 40% less than what it did because guess what? People are not going to Google as much to search. Where are they going? ChatGPT,
Yep.
Claude.
Welcome to Sharpen the Spear podcast, where we help manufacturing executives command the front and win the floor. I'm Richard Walsh, creator of the Sharpened Impact methodology, and I spent decades helping leaders transform frontline teams, unlock hidden profit, and capture capacity they didn't even know they had. If you want to see where your leadership gaps are costing you and how to fix them, head over to grittolead.com and run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator today. Let's sharpen your edge and get started. And we are back on STS, Sharpen the Spear podcast, with another incredible guest. Sean Shannon is with us today. And Sean, no one knows Sean better than Sean. So, Sean, I need the backstory. Bring us up to speed, and we'll get into this conversation.
Okay, I'll start at the end. I work, if you got a small, medium-sized business owner who is stuck doing their own business development, they got a team of salespeople who don't seem to know how to drag new business in. I come in and I do all of the knowledge transfer that business owner has not done, build out the systems, empower their salespeople to go out, create business from their own networks the way that founder is. So I am a magician at transferring founders and owners magician into their sales teams. I have done that over the course of 30 years in the local radio business. I started out back in the Stone Ages in 1988 when if you were a small, medium-sized business and you wanted to reach tens of thousands of people at a time, you had 4 or 5 choices. You could buy some radio, some TV, cable, outdoor billboards. Fast forward 2004, 2005, man, the entire thing flipped on us. Now suddenly our audience was no longer our primary value proposition. So I had to retool my salespeople, build out an in-house ad agency so that we could go out and tell our advertisers, we can create messaging for you that you can use across any platform you want. Then we wandered another 4, 5, 6 years and the iPhone launches, and now suddenly we're competing with another group of people out there, right? And so I have worked with sales organizations at iHeart, with Cumulus, with Odyssey, transforming those sales organizations from being peddlers of radio into being true marketing consultants and experts for their clients so that they could build campaigns they could run everywhere. So, but you know what? The last 4 or 5 years, I was a market president. I had full P&L responsibility for 7 radio stations in Sacramento and then 5 radio stations here in Atlanta. And I was spending most of my time on programming and operations because that's where all the problems were. And listen, it was a wonderful thing to be able to do something like relaunch 99X, a legendary brand here in Atlanta, take a station from 25th in the market in terms of ratings to number 2 in the course of 9 months. But that's not what I do. I love sales. And so I said, you know what? 34 years is long enough to be in the broadcast business. I want to go put that magic into play for small, medium-sized business owners that are looking to build out great sales teams.
Yeah, that is, I love it. I always enjoy talking to true sales professionals, guys have been in the game a long time, who have evolved. And you know what, I'll tell you, and you probably agree with this, I would imagine. I've been in business 35 plus years myself. The things we've been able to see, go through, and adapt to is
Yeah.
like never before in history.
Yes.
Think about that. Think about what we've had to adapt just to stay relevant, to continue to offer value, to reach our customers as they literally move to wholly different platforms. Like
Completely.
they don't watch TV.
No.
like, like that box is done. It's just it's wall art. That's all. That's all it is.
That's it.
So it's really that's why I was excited to interview you today, Sean, because there's such a vast, expansive experience adapting to all these things. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's kind of dive into, you know, who you're working with now, why that's kind of your sweet spot. We'll kind of dive into that a little bit because I think my listeners, of course, are, business owners and everything else too. They're kind of the small to mid-size. And this is where, because I've got my own radio stories and all that stuff. Okay. Well,
We
I've
all
lost
do.
tons of money on doing on doing things. Okay. But I wanted to hear because everyone wants to do things. They want to market, they want to advertise, but it got so convoluted with
Yes.
these evolutions. It's like it is spitting in the wind.
Yes. Completely. It is. And, and yet, so, man, I could go 100 different directions on this. What I saw happen, around 2002, 2003, there was a rush. If we think about the marketing funnel, top of funnel activities where we're creating awareness around our brand so that we are in the consideration set when, 97% of the market's not in the market for your product or service. 3% are, right? We want to make sure that when that 3% enters the market, they know about us, they trust us, they have a story around us. Then they begin to, figure out which ones they're going to go out and try finally buy, right? You had almost no choice but to do top of funnel activities before Google AdWords came around. And suddenly, when you had the ability to talk to people who are actively researching and looking for your product, we watched 70% of budgets in small and medium-sized businesses drop down to SEO and SEM. And that's all they were doing. And they were relying on somebody else to create the demand for the market, right? So you think about marketing in one construct, it's demand creation and demand capture. And so they're counting on somebody else to create the demand. McKinsey did this really interesting longitudinal study. They did three of them, 2015 to about 2022. And what they found is that the funnel doesn't work linearly anymore. You become aware of a problem in your life and you begin to think about who you might go and buy from. You start out with two or three in the consideration set, and instead of it narrowing down to one or two you're going to try, it blows up to 10 to 12 options as you research, right? So this is where these demand capture tactics are being played. Well, what they found was that the companies that were in the initial consideration set had a 300% better chance of closing the deal than those that got added during the research project. And, really what it tells us is that you start off with the people you know and trust. All of that research is simply to confirm your own bias, confirmation bias, back toward the companies. Are they really offering me what I want at the right price? And if they are, guess what? I got no reason to think about those other 10. So just fascinating. And so, what we're seeing is in this crowded marketplace, if you're not doing things specifically in the B2B space around thought leadership, around content, around webinars, you're going to get lost in that marketing funnel. And more than that, I'll add this, the real challenge is that what I am seeing is that Google search results are the number of clicks has dropped by about 40% in the last 8 months, right? So everything you're doing on SEO and SEM is yielding 40% less than what it did because guess what? People are not going to Google as much to search. Where are they going? ChatGPT,
Yep.
Claude, Grok, and further, 60% of the folks that go to Google find their way down into those search results. 40% of them are just looking at the Gemini AI
Yep.
summary, and they're never getting down there.
Yeah,
So,
this is really important. Again, it's another evolution.
yes.
Okay, like the ninth one. We've gone to like 4 years, right?
Yes.
But you're right with chat. It's just because it's AI agent
Yeah.
/ personal assistant. That's where it's going. So people like you think it's crazy now.
Oh,
another year or two, it's everyone's personal assistant, and they're literally just going to talk to it like, book this air flight, find me the
yeah,
best price on this and this, and whatever biases that, whether it's Claude or Chat has, it's
yeah.
so it's going to be fascinating, Sean. I just thought of this on this. Just again, everything's got a bias, right? So every whether it's again Claude, Chat, whatever Gemini, whatever it is, but like, how are they going to manipulate that? And don't think they're not going to. Okay,
Oh,
to
believe
drive
me.
to their own. Okay, to they have to monetize this, right?
Yes.
It's a new search. They're monetizing search now. When you go to Google, now they're going to have to figure that out. But it's happening so fast, no one's done it yet. But it
Yeah.
absolutely is coming. And one thing I've learned that's kind of cool is a lot of people, some people are a little more in depth with, the language learning models. They're using multiples, so they're
Yeah.
using three things at a time, running different.
To
It's really like it's wild. So when
it
we talk
is.
about sales and we talk about marketing, like it's I don't want to say it's exciting because I've never been good at it, and it's but, but it's like it's just every time I start to get some knowledge, it all changes. But it really is kind of exciting, and I think from a sales standpoint, if you can hear this discussion today, right now, okay, and start getting ahead of the curve, because the curve is really it's short and fast.
Yes.
Okay, then it'll be gone.
Exactly, right? I mean, so let's think about, where does marketing end in terms of your revenue generation, and where does sales begin, right? And we've tended to think, hey, listen, we need our marketing efforts to drive in a huge number of sales qualified leads so that we can make them marketing qualified leads and move on. Well, it's become real gray where marketing ends and sales begins. Think of just one simple thing that has occurred in the last 6 to 8 months. I think of sales in terms of one to one. And so the scale of my salesperson's efforts are limited to the number of people that they can make outreach to, whether it's through email or phone calls or LinkedIn connection requests. So they're going to cap out, at 12 to 15, the ability to reach out to 12 to 15 people during the course of a given day or a week. Well, I can use AI to create an SDR as Sean Shannon that's going out and making connection requests, is dripping in mails, is dripping emails, all as me. So now suddenly one-to-one sales is happening at scale. Now suddenly, I'm doing a marketing function as a salesperson. If I'm not on top of that, I'm already behind.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's interesting how you just put that, because when we do sales, same thing, and I have a sales team or I'm doing the sales. I mean, and this is not some new revelation here, but we got to fill the pipeline. If you just use that terminology, like and if you're depending on outside sources to fill your pipeline, here's the problem. And you already know this, but we'll share with the audience. Like 85% of that is garbage.
Yeah.
It's plugging up the pipeline is what it's
Yep.
doing, right? It's drawing away resources and time, money, different allocations for things, and this they're going in the trash, and they're probably
Yes.
paid for at some degree, right? You spent some
Yep.
kind of money on those, whether it's $5 or 500, right? You've got those, but when we swing back to the one-on-one, yeah, you have a ceiling, okay, but you're dialing in quality leads, okay. They're when you begin, they're almost warm when you begin.
Yes.
Personal connection turns them instantly into a warm lead, and then you begin to bake that, right? You literally got to put that thing in the oven, whatever your sales cycle might be. But like you said in the beginning, that three to 97%, 3%
Yeah.
is ready to buy. Okay, great. Well, you're not getting any of those. Okay.
Right.
But you're after the 97% because that's where your money is.
Yes. And what are you doing? And so, I've got all kinds of little constructs I think about. And the unique part for me is that I spent my career selling marketing services. So as a sales guy, I've got hell, I teach marketing at the University of North Georgia. I taught it at the University of Washington. I know the marketing space, but I also know the sales space really well. And so I see where they're connecting and not connecting. So one simple way of thinking about it is that I've got my salespeople and they're out looking for clients. My marketing function is about making me world famous in my target market. So it becomes real scalable so that clients find me instead of my salespeople having to find them. And so how we connect the two of those in, a Grok and ChatGPT and Claude world is entirely different than it was even a year ago.
Right. Yeah. So I have a lot of AI experts come on the show, guys who have like invented this stuff.
Oh, smart,
Okay.
smart.
And I'm talking to them, and I always remind people, I go, listen, so I got the best of the best. I'm talking to them. They will not give me any predictions. I mean, I gotta
No.
strain them to get 6 months.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's and I work in chat every day, all day. I've created all this really cool stuff in it. I see it change daily as I work
Mhm.
in it. I see new things. I mean, the whole last year, I spent incredible time in there, but I'm watching the evolution of it. It's quiet. And if you're not in a lot, you don't really notice it. But when
No.
you're working it every day, all day, or something, why is it not doing what is that? All of a sudden you got this new thing, or it's taking a little different direction or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
So it's constantly evolving, like way more than people think.
It is. And here's the thing. I've lived now through, let me think, 90, 2000, 2007, 2008, 4 or 5 different recessions, or I would prefer to call them economic disruptions, right? We are right now in the midst of another technological disruption. And what happens during disruptions is that our visibility into the future gets real dim. And it's like driving through the fog. And the temptation is when visibility gets low is to slow down and even stop and wait to see what's going to come. The problem is you're going to get rear-ended from the guy behind you. The moment to accelerate is actually in the fog. You've in other words, as opposed to sitting back and saying, all right, I'm going to see what AI is going to do to change X, Y, or Z function of my company. No, get active, get in it. You're only going to learn as you iterate. And if you're not active, you're not iterating.
Yeah, it's I this last year plus for me is what I've done. I'll be revealing everything, but I mean I built an entire company inside ChatGPT. I mean,
Yeah.
ecosystem, the
Ecosystem.
coding, 10,000 lines of code I had Chat built. But it's unbelievable. Like, and I had another guy, another AI guy on. He's talking to me. He said, "Well, yeah, talk about it more." And I go, "Well, I kind of made it. I don't know." He goes, "Listen, nobody's going to copy that. No one's going to put in those hours." So I put in over 4,000 hours on this diagnostic,
Holy.
right, to make this thing. But it's a game changer, right?
Yeah.
But where I did, then I had Chat journal it, like
Oh,
every
man.
milestone. Like Chat was creating a whole journal of all
Yeah.
the milestones, everything else you're doing, the problems, all this stuff. So it's like it's this thing you get inside there, and it's I call it the only business partner that would ever work with me. Okay,
Yeah.
because no one else could hang, right? No one's
Yeah.
going to sit across the desk and take that, 12, 15 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, until this thing got done. But the tool itself it's really fascinating. Like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't, because I'm not that guy. I am not an early adopter. I'm not a tech guy. I don't like
Yeah.
motorsports. I'd rather pull my sled 8 miles in the snow with snowshoes than drive a snowmobile. Okay, because where's the fun in that? So I'm that knucklehead. Okay,
Yeah.
but this I just saw it. I jumped in it and said, "Well, let me play." I'm like, and then it just kept what you realize you can do in this beyond what most people think
Yes. So
already.
so I want to sort of jump off that. Yes.
Yeah.
The real currency in our AI driven world right now is trust. And trust is really only going to be built face to face. It's on a Zoom call, it's an actual phone call. I've actually seen with a couple of my clients, those that are dedicating their time to actually making phone calls are getting better success than they were 10 years ago. Because guess what? You stand out. You're a person, right? Who uses the phone anymore for crying out loud, right? What's old is new again. But the interesting thing, so I'm working with a couple of really smart people, John Constantine and Jamie Welch, and we're building out an AI sales training program so that as you go through this sales training, we can quickly customize it to a specific industry, to a specific business. But there is an AI sales trainer that's interacting with you
Yep.
as you go through these
Yep.
10 sales modules,
Yep.
right? Just crazy. What we're doing as we're building it, we meet each week and we're iterating and we're changing and we're, coming up with it. We're recording all those Zoom calls and we're building out content that will build the trust that we need, that'll be found by large language models when somebody goes into chat and says, I need sales training cheap. But boom, we're there because we've created the content around it.
Yeah,
So
it's funny you're doing this because here's what I did. Again, I'm not an early adopter, but when I figured this out, talking about sales training, so I had a service customer, right, or a client, and he's like, "Well, I got to build a sales team. I'm the only one who can sell. You know the drill, right? The owner's the
yes,
only salesman. I'm the only
I'm
guy
it.
who can sell. I'm the best. No, who's going to equal me? I can't not sell." And I'm like, I learned, I don't know, 20 years ago that's garbage.
It's
Okay,
dumb.
you're the one who can sell because you don't have a process.
Yes, exactly. You
It's all
haven't
on you.
documented.
So what I did was I took Plod, okay, a little recording device. You can
Hmm.
upload some of that. I gave it to my client. I said, here, you'll roll up to a job. Okay, it's all exterior service, trees, all stuff.
Yep.
Flip it on the collar, hit record, get out, record the whole thing, get done, do that. You're doing 3 to 5 estimates a day. I
Yep.
said, give it a couple weeks or a month. Take them all, upload them into chat, and say, let's build a sales presentation. And then you
Yes.
have every objection you're ever going to possibly have. Now
Yes.
you can counter them all. You can build this out. It'll slice and dice the whole thing. It'll organize the whole thing. And you're just doing what you do all the time.
Yes.
And in 30 days, I can replace you 100%.
Yeah.
Now you have a duplicatable, trainable sales system. People can drop in 7 days. It can be a pro. Now I built these years ago. I would do done for you sales presentations for roofing companies.
Right.
I'd give them video and I'd show them how to do it and good, better, best, and the whole thing. That was a ton of work. Okay.
Yes.
That was
I mean,
me
like
probably
a
a year
heavy
to put it
lift.
all together. Yeah. And this is like minutes.
Yes.
I
And
mean, here's the killer. Okay. So just to show you the mindless bill. Okay. He did the recordings. Did he ever upload them? Did he
no,
ever? And I'm like, what? I just, you're fired. You're fired as a
you're,
client.
yeah, I can't work with you.
I'm
You,
like, I'm just like this is the greatest. Like I'm thinking I'm the first person ever even thought of doing it that way. I'm like, this is the greatest. Do you know what I would have done for this 10 years ago,
oh,
even five? Like
crying out
this would
loud.
have changed the whole game. This that simple hack right there is a field leveler in business.
Yes,
Because now you're
it
going to start
totally is.
competing with guys who are 10x you because you're able to create that conversation, overcome those objectives early, the whole package.
Yes. And really what is that owner or founder's magic in the business development process? It's discernment, it's judgment, it's the ability to perceive what the client is. Peter Drucker's famous for saying the vast majority of businesses have no idea what their customers are buying. They know what they're selling them, but they don't know what's motivating the purchase. And what those owners and those founders are able to do is through really subtle cues, understand what they're actually purchasing and retool the focus of their presentation toward that, right? Clayton Christensen came up with the idea of jobs theory, that we don't necessarily buy products and services. We hire them to do real specific jobs in our lives. So, in the roofing business, you've got one set of customers that are what they're actually hiring you to do is help them get their house closed. Because that one of the primary motivators for a new roof, the most expensive, least psychically satisfying home improvement you can ever make, right? 60% of Americans have no idea what color their roof is.
Right.
Roofing Association did a study 10 years ago. So, you got one group that are I just need to get my house closed. There's another group that have water damage because their roof got too old and they didn't take care of it. Another group are dealing with an emergency because a storm blew through, right? So that's what these founders are able to figure out, and retool themselves around those different jobs that are being hired for.
Yeah,
And
it's really fascinating. I always told people too. I go, listen, like I had like a whole system, right? You want to get a roof estimate. Okay. I had this thing, it was a minimum 4 days before we could get there. And that's also I can warm the lead. So they
yeah,
can get my documents and get this and get appointment confirmation and get my business license. They get testimonials. Well, then they get a reminder it's tomorrow. Then it's a call in the morning, 7, 8 touches before I get there if it's only 4 days, more if it's not. I said, and I tell people, well, we need to get out there. I go, listen, nobody needs a new roof today. No
no,
one wants to drop $20,000, $30,000 on a roof. Like you said, they didn't even know the color. And it's true,
yeah,
but it's covering the largest personal investment of their life.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
No idea what this thing is, right? And like you said, it starts leaking, you'll find out. And then you're going to get to learn what mold's all about, right? And everything else. So, but it's really interesting, like trying to put a little bit of time in the sales cycle. I get
yeah,
getting out there right away and everything else, but now they have a tree on their roof. A 3 footer is falling. Is a
yes,
different animal, right? So it's a whole different approach. I get it, right? But
yes,
if you're looking, yeah, I think I need to change it, or I might have hail damage, whatever, right? So the whole
yeah,
point was like, okay, let's just take a breath. Let's figure out who our customer is, because we have different. You just describe it. There's different customers at different stages of
yes,
what we offer. Like that's the first thing you have to figure out. Is there more than one thing?
yeah.
Right. I mean, and then you have to craft the responses for those things. What's the time frame? What's the sales cycle? Hey, can they get moved up? Of course they can get I'll be out there in an hour. Okay.
Yes,
If there's a tree, we're out there, we'll be removing the tree in 2 hours. Okay. Like that's,
it's
we can do that.
just another way of thinking, and this is what I try and impart with my clients is just I want to give you heuristics. I want to give you some mental shortcuts of ways of thinking about your customers. One way of thinking about customer groups is that you've got customers that have urgent problems and you have customers that have emergent problems. And how you approach and how you message is going to be entirely different depending on whether it's an urgent or emergent, right? We had a orthopedic doc that we worked on a campaign 10, 15 years ago. And you've got urgent problems. I just blew my ACL out playing softball. And then you have emergent problems. I've been dealing with chronic pain for the last 10 years, and I finally have pushed myself over the top. Well, I'm going to have entirely different messaging and sales strategies for the emergent problem versus the urgent problem.
Yeah. It's so important to understand. It's an awesome point because you have to understand their pain. In
Yeah.
the simplest way, it's like I have to talk to their pain. They need to know I understand their pain. I need to poke their pain.
Yes.
Okay, I got to apply pressure to the wound, in the wrong way. Okay, make it hurt
Yeah.
more. Okay, not just to stop the bleeding, but I have to sit in that, and then we have attention, we have trust, we have interest, and now we can move along the sales process, right? But
Yeah.
until you understand that, you're going to speak the wrong language to them.
Yes. Well, that's exactly it. And as will work with salespeople on their outreach campaigns, we've got to sit down and do a modest amount of research to and find an anticipated point of pain. What do I think this client is struggling with today? I'm trying to sell marketing services. Is their anticipated point of pain that they don't have enough web visits or their conversion rate is not where they want it? Is it they don't have enough floor traffic, physical people walking through the door? Or is it simply my revenue's got to increase and I got to figure it out, right? What's that anticipated point of pain? So then let my outreach speaks to that specific point of pain.
Yeah, really, that's really important. And a lot of times you probably find this, and if you don't, let me know. But their perceived pain is sometimes not the real pain.
No, absolutely. It generally is not. And this gets into the discovery call. And I would, I have a claim is that I know to the minute and the second how long the average discovery call goes. To the minute and the second, right?
Right.
And 45 minutes, 30 minutes. No, it goes to the minute and second
Yep.
that a client utters a problem that you have a solution for, and you stop discovering and you start selling. And it's that patience and that wisdom to know I'm not here to sell, I'm here to uncover.
That's it.
And if I take the bait on that first problem that they utter that I can sell to, I'm probably going to end up stepping over a lot of $50,000 opportunities to sell a $5,000 opportunity.
Yep.
I'm not there to uncover the first problem. I'm there to uncover the largest problem. And this
Well,
is another little
Sean,
piece of
the thing is,
psychology.
and your point is so well taken. The problem is they jump on that. They're not wrong,
No,
right? They're not wrong, but this goes some with an LPV, a lifetime profitable value
yes,
stance, right? So
totally.
you've got, so I look at like, well, okay, but now you're also, if you can, you diagnose in a minute and a half, and now you
Hmm.
start to sell, and you're going to tell them
Yes,
the cure, right? Their perception is going to be he's here to sell,
yes.
and nobody likes to be sold, but everybody loves to buy. Okay,
Everybody, yeah, I like to say nobody likes to be sold, but they love to be sold well.
right,
Right?
right,
That's exactly
awesome,
it.
yeah.
And
So
and yeah,
yeah, no, I was just saying that the LPV, the lifetime profitable value, is what you're there to discover.
yeah,
Okay, like you know, if we're great at sales, we're leaving with something.
yes,
Okay, now, but when we look at it and go, okay, over the next 5 years, 10 years, there's $125,000 of work here.
yeah,
I'm here today. Their problem that they need fixed yesterday is 5,700.
yeah,
But I see, okay, so that's great. Hear it all. Take the notes, throw them in your CRM, right? We got that. That is
yeah,
like, I think people don't understand this. When you build that LPV focus and you actually install it in your CRM,
yes.
your resource manager, here's the thing as an owner, here's why I want you to do it or have your salespeople do it because no one thinks of this. And you probably do, Sean, but when I sell my company, that list when it's got all of that, holy cow, man, that's a valuation number that
Uh,
nobody thinks about,
no,
right?
absolutely right.
You have
The-
thousands of those, thousands.
exactly. You are able to prove to whoever's purchasing your company that this sales funnel has life beyond me.
That's it.
It has life beyond, right? This is a going concern because we have a sales process and we have the resources and tools to keep our customers engaged with us. The other, there's just another way of thinking, the size of the problem has to outweigh the cost of the solution for a deal to close, right? If every one of us woke up this morning with every problem in our lives in its actual size and scope, we wouldn't get out of bed. So what we do is we sort of shrink and manage problems down to bite-sized chunks. Here are 4 problems I need to solve today. Here are another 10 problems that I can push off to next week. And then here's 150 that really I don't need to deal with. So I walk into the sales call and there's the burning bush sitting, or the burning dumpster fire sitting in front of them. And yeah, I can solve that, but that's a $5,000 problem and does not get after that $500,000 problem
Yep.
that they're not thinking about. And my job in the discovery call is to grow the size of that problem to its actual size so that they can see it and say, oh, this is where the money is. This is
Right.
where I can grow or I can save.
Yeah. And again, I don't know if it's just a human nature, make things simple. I mean, to go back, I always say this about AI itself. I go, listen, it's built by humans. So there's two things you can be assured of. Okay. It lies and it's lazy.
Yes.
Okay. Those are the two things because it does. Okay. So it's just what it'll give you the simplest answer and you'll think it's great
Yeah,
until you tell
totally.
it to roast it and dig a little deeper. And all of a sudden you have
So,
really incredible stuff. Right. So I think in that sales process, that's our problem. They're looking for put food on the table tomorrow. They're not thinking
yes,
about next year. They're not thinking
completely.
about filling the pantry. Right.
Yes.
It's that kind of thing. And as a founder, as an owner, CEO, whatever you are, that's what you have to bring to your sales team.
Well, and here's the simplest, most powerful question that I ask every time I sit down with a new client. What's your exit strategy?
We're
Where,
very aligned. Okay. 'Cause I
right?
do the same thing.
Where, are you looking to pass this on to your son or daughter? Are you looking to grow it to sell private equity? Are you looking to go out and acquire other companies? What's your growth strategy? How are you going to go about it? And man, if I can start at the end and we're way back to the beginning, I start uncovering the biggest problems
Yep. Yep. It's all, and I call the exit strategy the best business filter you could ever have. Because
completely.
any opportunity that comes to you, okay, well, that sounds good. Let me run it. Does it get me closer or further to my exit?
Yes.
And if it gets me
Right.
further, it's a hard no. I'm
Hmm.
doing that. But if you brought me here, here's this sales concept because, and we started at the end and worked our way back, when and how much, how many
Yes.
people I'm going to need, what do I have to grow into, where am I going, what markets am I actually going to move into, because I actually have the capability to bring new offerings that all feed the same hub on that
Yes.
as spokes go, right? How you do that, like, but people can't get past that first small sale, and they
Yeah.
just keep running in that tiny little hamster wheel, and it's a tiny hamster wheel, and they got to run really fast, right? But they never, like, we all want to close big deals,
Yeah.
okay? When that's, who doesn't? But they can never get there, and they also don't say, well, if I service this customer 6 different times, that's a six-figure deal.
Yeah.
Wow, it's just going to take 3.5 years or 5 years.
Yep.
But that times 3,700 customers, that's a good number.
That's a big number.
Right? So
It's a, it's a
it sounds so simple, but again, I often, and you probably, I like to know kind of your view on this. I often find it is the founder, it is the owner, the kind of the top of the chain there, that they've got their own limiting beliefs.
yes.
Okay, and depending on what they think about people in general, and I've been on both sides of this fence. Okay, they're pretty much their society's number one problem is people. Okay,
Yes.
that's what I always say. But I
Totally.
said, so I don't have a lot of confidence, even though I train them and get them. They're kind of always going to disappoint. Or you come to the other side. Are you building a team to achieve these numbers, not a short time quota? Like,
Yeah.
what's the actual focus? I get we got numbers, we got quotas, we got to reach things, but what's the trajectory? So because no one wants a job for 6 months. Like,
Yeah.
look where you can be in 3 years from now, 5 years from now. If you use this approach, this is what you'll see. And since you've mapped out the path, they're already going to see the hurdles, just like a steeplechase, if you know what that is, right? You're
Yep.
jumping over these things and over what they know when it's coming.
Yeah.
They train their stride to hit that thing perfectly and get over it when it comes. It's not a mystery. It's not a setback. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a point of achievement.
It's an expected hurdle.
Right.
And we built our business out to address it. And it's down, it's, most businesses are solving yesterday's problem,
Yeah.
right? And my job as a consultative salesperson, is to help refocus them on tomorrow's problem. Because tomorrow's problem is always much more valuable than yesterday's problem.
And well, it's what I say. Problems are opportunities.
Yeah.
If you're not looking for problems, you're not looking for opportunities. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
this whole thing, Sean, I spent this last year building, was solving an unbelievable problem that I saw early
Yeah.
with a market change and everything else. I'm like, well, I'm usually pretty good at seeing what's coming, but the execution to build and monetize that was never, I wasn't great at that. Right. So I
Yeah.
really had to retrain myself. I go, okay, I see it. I'm almost always right about what's coming. The problem is I dropped the ball in the execution.
Yeah.
So I'm use these new tools and I'm going to make this happen. And I dedicated every waking hour to make this happen. And like, oh, look, it works. I came out the other side, and yeah, it's cool. But I love what you're saying about this, because founders, you've got to be looking forward to the problems,
Yes.
because they are opportunities, and you can convert them, and you're miles ahead of your competition.
Yeah. If you think about it, the role of a salesperson for a business owner has morphed at least three times in my career. When I got into sales, my job was to communicate value. Let me communicate the value of the audience that we reach. And it morphed into, I need to create value for this client through the course of my sales process. And we're now in a place where I think one of the fundamental jobs of great salespeople is not only to create value through the questions you ask, but to challenge the challenger sale, challenge clients in terms of what they believe, back to that limiting belief, what they believe is possible, what they believe is coming down the pike. You've got to come in with a perspective that is unique and is based in fact and is thinking of things that your clients aren't thinking of that they should be. And,
Right.
that requires you being, a subject matter expert in their business. Entirely different thing than coming in. I'm going to pitch my audience. I'm going to pitch my widget, right?
Yeah, it's next level stuff. Okay. I
It
mean, so
is.
it's anytime you like, even when I create all those done for you sales presentations, for roofing industry, and I'm like, you look at it, well, hey, every roofer could use it, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they are? Heck no.
Nope.
10%. The
Yeah.
certified guys, the certified in this brand and certified those guys, that's the only people we're focused on.
Yeah.
You'll get the onesie twosies on the other guy, but like we don't even talk to him. Why would
Yeah.
I'm not going to burn up a minute, to get a no
Right.
because it's an assured no. Okay, they have no
Yes.
concept. They're two chucks in a truck and that whole thing, and they don't get it. They're not there yet. Hopefully,
Yeah.
they'll learn and they'll grow. But focus on that. Focus on the top. And I think from a business standpoint, Sean, it's there's you can make money at every level. Okay,
Yeah.
no doubt. You could be a low bidder. You can be the extreme double value, whatever. You're top of the line. You're expensive. People say he's good, but he's really expensive.
Yeah.
Like that's the badge of honor. Okay.
Totally.
I want people to say that about me. Other people shy
Completely.
away from that. I go, no, that's exactly what you want people to say. You
Yes.
know?
It's completely it. You
Yeah.
know,
So
th-
it's you really just another market aspect you have to understand
yeah.
who you're truly serving.
So the two questions that I think that if you are a big thinking salesperson, you want to ask. The first is, what's your exit? What's your, where you want to get? The second is, and I'm blown away at how 90% can't answer this question. What's the size of the addressable market in your industry? I'm a roofer in Atlanta. What's the total dollar value of roof repair and roof replacement in Atlanta? And they can't tell you. They have
Yep.
no idea. So therefore, they have no clue as to what share of the market they currently have and what share of the market's possible if they put the right marketing and sales into place, right? And it is amazing. I used to do just back of the napkin, right? I would say, okay, well, listen, in Atlanta, there are 2.8 million homes.
Yep.
And, I know that, in 1960, it was 900,000. So I can begin to build out a 20-year little
Yep.
cicada sales cycle and
Yep.
begin to understand that there are going to be roughly 220,000 roofs replaced in Atlanta this year at 20,000 or 22,500. Here's right back of the napkin. Well, now I can go into ChatGPT, I can go into Claude, and I can say, what's the total size of the addressable market in the roofing industry in Atlanta? Up it
Yeah,
pops.
I did it. I love it. I did the exact same thing years ago. So I did in my general area. We
Yeah,
have 350,000 people. We got this. Hey, on average, roofs get changed every 15 years. That's the
yeah,
industry average for hail damage, color change, whatever, right? The whole pack. So we started doing that. Here's the retail. And I'm looking at retail. I wasn't looking at storm.
yeah,
I really dialed it down, like how many you could do in a year, how you market it. And that's a map. That's a real
totally.
map. And you can go, okay, I know what I need. How do you begin and all that stuff? Because here's, and I'm not in the roofing industry anymore, but there's a thing about you got your insurance sales, right? So guys
Yeah,
go, they're knocking doors and they get in and everyone's got a $500 or $1,000 deductible. Well, we'll waive the deductible, or whatever. And they close these deals and they get to roofing. Like, well, I'm a roofing salesman. I go, well, like retail, they go, well, no, storm. I'm not doing storms. Like, oh, you're not a salesman. That's not sales. What are you talking about? You like waive the deductible. You can't even get them to pay the $500 to do a $20,000 roof. You ain't a salesman. I'm like,
right.
I tell them I can't waive that. That's insurance fraud.
Yeah,
I don't operate that way.
No,
And don't you think if I gave that up, wouldn't I make it up somewhere else and that'd be on your roof?
totally.
I said, I'm like, I'm getting it all. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
selling, but so it's kind of a little bit of an industry joke, you kind of go back and forth, but I'm like, that's like, you're a marketer. You're
Yes.
not you're not a
You're
salesman.
not a salesperson.
Right.
And
I
by
just
the
think it's
way,
funny, when you get out there and it's that whole thing. And I'm like, I have people writing me physical $20,000 checks. Okay. You're
yeah.
waiting for the ACH, you're waiting for the RCV. Okay. I get it. Okay. I mean, that's the whole industry. They do 20, 30 million a year,
Yep.
whatever. It's all good. I'm just saying, if we want to split hairs on sales,
Yes.
okay, who's the real salesman here? I mean, if you get someone to part with $20,000 cash, you
Yes.
can sell.
Look,
Okay.
and
Like, it's a little different than here, sign here and I'll take care of it with the insurance.
well, yeah, then flip it around. The person who is looking to save $500 on a $20,000 purchase is going to be, by their nature, a terrible client. They're going to be the ones that are complaining the most,
Yep.
that are
They're,
sucking time out of your life.
Yep. See, you just
I do.
validated yourself again, Sean. Okay. Just like my cash customers. Oh, well, can I get a discount for cash? No,
No.
you can't. I'll take cash, but there's no
Yeah,
discount. Okay. I'm like, because the 100% across the board, the worst clients ever. They're
completely.
never done asking for more.
No.
Okay.
That,
That just starts the ball rolling.
yes.
That's
That,
what I go,
that,
nope. I don't,
nope.
no, it's against policy. That's all I tell them. It's
Yes.
against company policy that I did. Well, don't you own the company? I do. And that's why I have policies, because
Yes.
I'd wreck this company. Okay.
Totally sort of sidetrack on this. There was an ad agency, brilliant. This is back in the early 2000s. So the way that in the old media business, an ad agency had a Toyota dealership, and they would send out an RFP, request for proposals. Here's our target demographic. Here's our cost per rating point that we're looking to pay. Here are the weeks that we're looking to be on the air. All of that, right? So you then get in and you build out your schedule in Nielsen and send it off to them. And so, you knew that RFP, you could see on it, all the radio stations had been sent out, and so you knew who you were going to position yourself against. There was an ad agency that instead of sending out an RFP, would send out insertion orders. So a account executive wakes up one morning, walks in, and there is $130,000 order in their inbox, and they are geeked about it. Oh my gosh, here's $130,000. But the catch to it is that it was at 50% of what the customer the station wanted to charge. And what they did was really clever. They took a salesperson who, when an RFP comes in, they're at stake to win something. Now they're at stake, they're at risk to lose it. And
Right.
they're in battling with me as their sales manager, but it's $130,000. Yeah, but they cut our rate in half. Yeah, but it's $130,000.
Right.
Yeah, they cut it's
Yep.
just fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, math. It's a funny thing.
Yeah, right.
But it's just, I love sales for a lot of different reasons. I've helped a lot of companies with this stuff too. And I'm not the sales expert. I don't claim to be. I'm not on your level, never will be. But there's basics that I see. And I've taken clients who already had a 50% close rate and done a few tweaks. I got them to 83% close rate month after month. Okay. And
Yeah,
like, who does that? And there's like,
right.
I go, well, and there's just a few things I changed. Little presentation, do this, change how you're charging, stuff like that. And like,
Yeah,
it just revolutionized their company. And hey, 50% close rate's good.
it's
It's really
great.
good. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that they weren't, like, you guys are good, but if you it's like, I used to train athletes, right?
Yeah,
So elite athletes down to middle school kids, right? But the elites, the changes were tiny
yeah,
because they're at the highest performance level. That tiny is the difference between gold and silver.
yeah,
If you can give them that, so I would focus on the one little thing to give them that little thing, right? Just a little bit of extra, and it might be strengthening their ankles. I had a conversation this morning
Right.
with a guy, working with a guy from the Blackhawks. I'm like, because most hockey players have weak ankles. They're like, they do?
Interesting.
I go, yeah, because they're laced up.
Yeah.
I said, but the control and the knee and everything else is all tied to the ankle. And if you can strengthen that, and it gave them that little bit,
Teeny
be that
little.
step faster, right? That you're moving that puck just that much faster, right?
Yeah.
So it's little things, but even in the high performing companies, and the good owners understand this, right? They understand they're always learning and improving. Like you're looking for that expert as well. A guy
Yeah.
like you comes in and go, listen, we're here, like we're not hurting.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not hurting. Everything's going. I'm not coming here with major pain, or we're about to lose the whole, the whole show. We're like, but I do really do like being better.
Yeah.
I'm okay
Right.
with being better. I want to take more market share. I want my guys to close more
Yeah.
because everybody wins. When my salesman can close more, who doesn't win?
Yeah.
Clients get
Right.
a great product. They get more commission. I get more profit in my business, and voila, everybody's happy.
Yeah. I was talking with a client yesterday about their SDR comp. So, you've got a sales rep that's out selling the client, and you got your sales development rep that's setting the appointments for them. And they were paying $100 per appointment, or excuse me, $250 for every appointment, and then $100 if it closed. And I said, I think you got it backwards.
Yeah.
And they said, what do you mean? We give them the 100, with the way they had it made logical sense, which was, hey, listen, if I'm an SDR, I can't control whether or not the salesperson closes the deal. So give me the largest portion on just getting the appointment set. And I said, completely agree with that. But if you reverse it and you say, I'm at the bigger reward is when it closes, you're going to get a better quality of appointment.
Right.
You're going to get mutual accountability between these two because now the SDR has a larger stake in whether or not this thing gets closed. And they're
Right.
going to be asking questions,
Yeah.
right? Tweaks, tiny.
Yeah. It's again, I think kind of a kind of cool theme we've had here for this whole discussion is there's a big picture here.
Yeah.
And you've got to look at all the moving parts. They all matter, and you have to address them at one time or another. The direct, you might start in the middle and go left and right at the same time. You might
Yep.
start at the end and work your way backwards, or vice versa. But whatever it is, you have to have an attention to understanding the full scope of the sales process. I have a manufacturing client, and I love it because some things they don't track, they should, but other things they track, like their sales cycle.
Yeah.
It's 21, 0.9 days.
Right.
I like seeing decimal points. Okay,
I do
because they
too.
know exactly 21, 27.4. That's our average on the sales cycle. We have a room full sales. The whole thing. They totally get. You have to understand your sales cycle.
Well, yeah, because if you got a guy whose sales cycle is 30 days, there's an issue. And if you can get it down to say, I know that a client should be in this stage of the sales cycle for 2 to 3 days and this from 4 to 5, man, I'm even better in terms of how I'm coaching. I can identify where a salesperson's getting stuck in the sales process.
Yep.
They have a hard time closing, they have a hard time opening. Do they have a hard time keeping the velocity going? Is there too
Right.
much of a lag time between the discovery call and the presentation? Right? We figured out that in our radio world, the last 5 years that I was there, that if a client didn't make a decision on a presentation within 5 business days, on the sixth day, the chance of close dropped by 50%. We called it the half-life of the sale. So
Yeah.
if it was a 60% chance of closing on day 5, it's 30 on day 6. It's 15. And so we set our CRM to wash opportunities out after 10 days because they were worthless.
Yeah. Yeah. You really and then what I would recommend if it was go back and say, okay, let's reevaluate let's role play the presentation.
Bingo.
Okay,
Right?
so it's like you just now we took care of that, but there's still something broken here.
Yeah.
And not you're going to be 100%, but if I can take someone from 50 to 83, Okay. And they've been doing something for 40 years.
Yeah,
Okay. It's like, that's like some, like I performed a miracle. Okay. It's
totally.
just,
You invented fire.
right.
Think of it this way. For the average sales leader, if imagine Georgia playing Alabama at Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, and Kirby Smart is coaching his team from the parking lot. He can't see anything that's going on the plays, right? He's getting feedback second and third hand. That's a sales manager. You're
Yep.
not out on those sales calls. You're
Yep.
not seeing what's occurring on the field of play. And therefore, you've got to get real good in one-on-ones, being very disciplined about the questions that you're asking and what is not being said as much as what is
Yep.
being said from that salesperson.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, you're leaving out step three. Yeah, I
Bing,
don't think that's really relevant. Well,
it,
do you know why it's in there?
yeah,
Because it's relevant. Okay, it
yes,
works. So like you implement that and you'll catch up with the rest of these guys who are closing 42.5% and you're at
yeah,
28. Okay, so
bingo.
you go ahead and put three back in there and let's just see what happens.
Yeah,
But it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. I guess everybody gets applaud.
yeah,
I don't mean applause. I mean
yes,
applaud. And they
applaud.
go in and now we're going to check your work, baby. I mean, I'm
Yes,
talking like let's have some reviews, and you got to bring that. If you're not uploading that stuff, we're gonna know. And I'm like, I just think it's such a cool tool. I'm like, I love even podcasting. Here we are, right? We're
yeah,
having this great conversation. I listen to most of my podcasts, not all of them as much anymore. I've done hundreds, but I used to go back and review them. My wife would be like, "Really, you're listening to yourself?" And I'm like, well, I'm improving. I got like, hey,
yeah,
maybe I won't throw my brother on the bus like that. Next time I'll say he might actually listen to one of these. I better stop talking about him like that. But little things like that, like how did I
yeah,
do? And I look at the percentage of who spoke. I have those stats right when we get done. I'm like, if I'm at 80% and you're at 20%, I'm a bomb. I failed. Okay.
yes,
Like, okay, you got issues. Okay. It's enough about me. Let's talk about me. Okay.
exactly.
So my goal is 50-50.
Yeah,
When I look at my best podcast, Sean, they're between 60-40, 60 being on the guest side,
yeah,
40 or really close to 50-50. Somewhere right in that 10% range, and they're
yeah,
magnificent because there's like legit back and forth like we're doing here. You back and forth is respectful, again, you got to hear that though. You got to hear
yeah.
yourself like, listen, man, your answers are too long. Cut that stuff. I mean, you really, as a professional, and this is sales too, right? We're on podcasts. I've been on hundreds as a guest. I've done
Yeah,
hundreds as a host. Like, I have to be good.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you really have to kind of be good at this.
yes,
Like, you
exactly.
can't do something for 2 years and not improve. I mean, you can,
You
but that's
can,
yeah, you
believe me.
can, and you're going to be out of work. Okay, like it's only gonna be your mother listening to your podcast, maybe. And if she's a
Exactly.
good mother, she's going to tell you get out of the podcast business. Okay, but
Don't
you
don't
know what
give
I'm
up your
saying?
day
It's like it's
job.
this ability to review and role play. Again, another thing I use chat for, it's great for role play.
Yeah,
I was doing a whole investment thing. I'm like, just crush me. And we put a timer of 20 seconds to answer
yeah,
written. Okay.
yes,
Not speaking. I'm like, and I'm typing boom, and then it'll analyze it. Okay,
completely.
that's okay. That's not good. Do this. Keep this. Let's harden this up. And like you go to do you. It's time compression.
Totally.
Unbelievable time compression. My whole thing now we do massive role play as we build these commanders for factory floors and
Yeah,
stuff. And it's so much fun. Not for them,
yeah.
for me. Okay. It's fun for me because I'm directing it, but that's immersion, right?
That's the second part of what my friends Jamie and John and I are building is that here's the sales training module, and now here's a sales coach, so that your salespeople, dryer vent wizard, you're out selling dryer vent cleaning. Your salespeople can jump in with an AI sales coach specifically trained on your business and your industry to get reps before they start calling, running
Yep.
into the objections, graded on how well you overcame them, right? There are tools there that can help your humans have better interactions with other humans using AI.
I'm, I'm telling you, it's like what I do is I go when you know all the objections, there's only so many.
Totally.
Like,
Uh,
and you know them and you have all the responses first you plan to overcome them before they're ever brought up.
Bingo.
That's the
Inoculate the
ideal,
patient, right?
right? But then
Yes.
when that other one comes up again because they weren't listening to your presentation, then you can answer them again,
Yeah.
right? Because you know what you're not going to ever get blindsided. The guy who knows the answers to the questions wins,
Yes.
right? If you know what they're going to ask, if you know
Yeah.
that and you got all the answers, you win.
Totally.
It's
Right.
it's absolute confidence and it's a trust builder, and they just you already it's like you're in their head.
Yes.
And now we
I,
have the tools to do that. Man, we did this without that stuff,
oh,
right?
completely.
I had to like take notes when I got done. And I don't
Yes.
know about you, but I wasn't a really good note taker,
No.
so I
Well,
just got
actually, I'm a
great
good
at
taker.
doing it, and I'm painting the picture and I'm the artist and I could do all that on myself, but who else could sell this? So I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm closing $100,000 deals, 300,000. Like, no one, who's better than me? That was
Right.
my, like most people, that would be the answer. You can train them and get them to do it. And I love that about this whole conversation is like, so many people are afraid of sales,
Hmm.
all the stuff in their head, whether it's they had a bad situation. I remember asking someone, Sean, I go, well, when you go up to a door and your door and it says no solicitors, I
Yeah.
said, do you know what that's really saying? I can't say no to anybody. That's what no solicitors mean. Okay. Like someone's husband put that on the door because their wife bought everything. Okay. So
Yeah.
knock anyways.
Yeah.
That's what I tell them. Knock anyways. You're going
It's
to get
good.
a yes. Okay.
Exactly.
It's just, there's all this stuff to it. Like you can make sales a lot of fun and you can also make it a really high achieving income generating
Yes.
machine that, man, you'll just embrace it. People hate it because they don't get trained.
Yeah.
They're
They
just
don't.
awful at it. They don't make more than 3 follow-up calls. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
They're all they get is the 3% who want to buy now.
That's it.
And they make
And
nothing. The average roofing salesman would sell $300,000 a year. That's it.
that's it.
Total. Okay. And if they're getting the 7% or a 10%, come in, that's only 30 grand.
No kidding.
Like
Right.
that's
Who's
nuts.
living off that?
Right. It's crazy. Oh, but this guy sold 2 million. Well, that's him.
Yeah.
But why don't you do that? Well, I don't know. Well, because no one's training you, or you don't really care and you're not really
Yeah.
putting the effort in. I go, I do 1 million in retail sales. No insurance, nothing. I go again, they're handing me checks. We do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you just have to understand, as we said, this whole thing, understand your market, understand
Yeah.
pain, right? How to deliver this, understand lifetime profitable value, look for the big, what's down the road. Again,
Yeah.
if you've blown into town quite literally for a storm and you're leaving in 6 months or 4 months, you don't care about LPV.
Right.
You care
I'm just
about
here.
deductibles and
Transact
what's this
roofs.
and getting in and doing it right. So different animal. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with this. That there's a market for that, right? But when you're into sales as a local, you're in
Yes.
a local area. This is where you live. This is where you work. This is where you sell. Here's my customer base. It's 100 square miles, or it's national, whatever it is. It's like it's the long term.
Yeah.
Those are the sales guys who are great.
Yes.
So
They
yeah,
they
awesome.
move from vendor to trusted partner and
Right,
advisor.
right, exactly. Oh, Sean, amazing conversation.
It's awesome.
As I know it would be. Totally fun. How do people get in touch with you? I know you're offering these services. You got all this stuff, a lot of stuff coming down the pike.
Yep.
People need this. Okay, like
Yes.
someone just start the ball rolling here with Sean. Find out like if your sales are struggling or you're good but you want to be great. We all need to be great.
We do. We do. Log on to strategicgrowthdesign.com and a real simple thing. I've got a 48-point sales assessment that you and your entire sales team go through. It's just an inventory, and it basically builds out where do we have opportunities for growth, where do we have real deficits and gaps, and what are we doing well. It's almost as actually more important to know what do we do well versus what do we
Right.
suck at. But and set up a 45-minute consultation call. I'll just walk you through it, and you can take the information I give you and do with it what you want, or you can hire me to come in and help fix those things. Because here's the thing, people in the businesses that I'm working with, $5 to $30 million, They don't need somebody to come in and tell them what's not working. They need somebody to come in and fix it.
Right.
And that's what I do.
Yeah.
I hate the word consultant because consultants come in and point things out and then leave and then come back and
Right.
point more things out. I come in and fix them, build the processes, document it, build a sales playbook, do the training and the empowerment that your salespeople need so that they can get out and go.
Yeah, it's awesome. I tell people, I say, listen, sales is the fuel for your economic engine,
Yes.
right? You can ramp it up, you can take it down, you can up the horsepower, you can do all that. Getting someone like you on the team is upping your horsepower.
Yeah.
Okay, the engine's built. You got all this. Now we got to tweak it and get the horsepower up so we can go faster, longer. Okay, that's what we need to do.
Precisely.
And sales is it's a make or break thing. There's a great saying that businesses don't fail because they're undercapitalized. They fail because they don't sell enough product at a high enough price.
Yes. It's
It's pretty
exactly
simple.
right.
Let's
Yes.
break that. They're like, give me some, give me some pushback on that. Okay,
No.
tell me where you're not selling enough at a high enough price, and you wonder why you're failing.
Yes.
Okay, because and that's a whole other conversation. We talk about pricing. That's a whole
Totally.
different show. And that's a fun show. I've done a few.
Yes.
So Sean, this has been absolutely fantastic. I appreciate the time, and we had a few technical glitches to get going here, but we overcame because we can't be stopped. Because that's
We
what
cannot.
sales is about.
Absolutely.
Stay in it till we
Stay
win.
in it. Exactly.
It's a good thing. So
In it to win
thanks.
it.
Yeah, thanks for the time, brother. I appreciate it so much. And for everybody else, we'll see you on the next STS podcast. Thanks for joining me on the Sharpen the Spear podcast. If you're a manufacturing executive and you're serious about unlocking hidden profit, improving frontline leadership, and taking control of your floor, go to grit2lead.com right now. Run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator and discover your biggest opportunities are hiding. Don't leave millions on the table. Sharpen your spear, lead from the front, and win the floor. Until next time, stay sharp.